All beings are manifestations of the profound reality that underpins the cosmos. If this is true, there are no mistakes in the world. You see, life as most people conceive it is a kind of jumble, a confusion of events with no rhyme or reason. But if you look just a little deeper, not with the eyes that analyze, but with the eyes that wonder, you begin to see that it's not chaos at all. It's rhythm. It's dance. Now, when people talk about synchronicity, they often think of it as some sort of magical interference, a wink from the universe, perhaps, or a sign that they are on the right path. But what if we stopped thinking of the universe as something other than ourselves, sending us messages like little cosmic telegrams? What if instead, the universe is what you are doing? Just as the pattern on the foam of a wave isn't separate from the sea, that strange encounter, the number repeating on the clock, the book that falls off the shelf at the exact moment you needed to read it, these are not interruptions in the flow. They are the flow. And they whisper not because they are trying to trick you, but because the universe doesn't shout, it hums. It murmurs in patterns, and if you are quiet enough, not anxious, not hunting, just aware, then you begin to notice that everything is in tune. Even the seemingly discordant notes are part of the music. Now we have been taught, oh so meticulously, that the world is built from bits and pieces, from atoms bouncing around in an indifferent void, and that life is essentially accidental. You, a curious splash of molecules with a name and a mortgage, somehow tumbling through a meaningless cosmos. But that view, you see, is only one way of looking. It's like focusing on the bricks of a cathedral and forgetting entirely the shape of the arch. And life isn't made of bricks, it's woven. Like a spider web, like the folds of a rose, like the rising and falling of your breath. When something unusual happens, a glance that lingers, a phrase repeated by strangers, a door that opens the moment you thought of it, the rational mind jumps to dismiss it. Just coincidence, it says. But that's like watching a magician and calling it sleight of hand. You've missed the point. The marvel is not in proving it. The marvel is in witnessing it. Because the more you try to explain away the dance, the more the music fades. But if you can sit, just sit, and see it not as random, not as planned, but as alive, then you realize something extraordinary. You were never outside it at all. You are not a spectator of the world. You are the world watching itself move. Now, as children, before anyone taught us the proper names of things, before we were told what was real and what was nonsense, we were in touch with something quite marvelous. We felt the weather in our bones. We could hear silence speaking. And we didn't need a reason to dance. We were the dance. You remember, don't you? That feeling that something was about to happen, not in the anxious way we adults often expect disaster, but in that wide-eyed, belly-deep, tingling anticipation that life itself was about to reveal a secret. And sometimes it did. A bird would land just beside you, a stranger would smile just as you were thinking, a sad thought. And it felt in those moments as if the world knew you. But slowly, slowly that sense was shamed out of us. We were told, stop daydreaming, be practical, grow up. And so we did. We replaced mystery with schedules, intuition with statistics. We traded the universe's poetry for a user manual. Yet that signal, that hum, that subtle frequency of awareness, it never stopped. It only grew quiet, like a cat curled in the corner of your mind, waiting for you to notice it again. You see, the universe never stopped whispering. You simply stopped listening. Now here's the funny thing. The moment you begin to notice these oddities, these little alignments, these improbable echoes, you realize they've always been happening. You just weren't tuned to the right channel. It's not that the world has changed. You have changed. And when your perception shifts, when the veil lifts just a little, what once looked like random noise becomes music. Not composed music, not orderly and neat, but jazz. Cosmic jazz. A kind of improvisational play between you and everything that exists. And in that moment you stop being a victim of chance, or a puppet dangling from strings you don't understand. You become a partner in a dance too vast and beautiful to control, but not too vast to enjoy. Now, don't mistake this for fatalism. I'm not saying everything is predestined, like clockwork ticking away behind the scenes. No, the universe is far too cheeky for that. It's playful, not programmed. And its patterns are not strict laws, but more like tendencies, probabilities, nudges, But what you begin to feel, and it's a feeling more than a thought, is that everything belongs. The pain, the joy, the delays, the chance encounters, none of it is spare. None of it is wasted. When synchronicity happens, people often ask, what does it mean? As if a synchronicity were some coded message you've got to solve, like a crossword from the sky. But it's not like that. It's not a message to you. It is you. You see, every so often, something rather curious happens. You think of someone and they call. You wonder about a question, and the answer shows up not through effort, but as if life itself responded. Now, this isn't you pushing buttons on the world. It's more like the world is dancing with you. For just a moment, the boundary between you and everything else disappears, and you see the thought in your head and the event in the world are not two things. They are one movement, like your shadow and your body moving together. And when you notice them, well, all you can really do is smile. Now, of course, science in its very polite way tries to brush all this aside. It's just your brain looking for patterns, neural pathways, nothing special. But saying that is like trying to explain music by measuring sound waves, or telling someone that falling in love is simply hormones firing in the bloodstream. Technically true, but entirely missing the point, because the point isn't whether a thing can be dissected. The point is, how does it feel? When a synchronicity happens, you feel something like a soft electricity, or a gentle nudge from behind the curtain. It makes your hair stand up. You feel noticed, as if life, for just a second, turned and looked directly at you. And that is not something science can put in a jar. It doesn't belong in a lab. It belongs here, in your breath, your skin, your awareness. So don't argue with it. Don't try to prove it or even to understand it. Just let it be. Let it play its tune and pass by like wind through trees. Because the truth is not in the answer. The truth is in the experience. And when you stop trying to control it or explain it or hold on to it, it begins to show itself more and more. And all you have to do is listen. If you sit quietly, really quietly, and just watch, you'll begin to notice that everything in the universe moves in patterns, in rhythm. The waves crash and recede. The moon grows full, then disappears. Your breath rises and falls. Even your thoughts come and go like birds flying across the sky. Never quite still, but never truly random either. Now, once you see this, you begin to understand something quite marvelous. That synchronicities, these little moments where the inside and the outside seem to match, are not strange at all. They are part of the rhythm, part of the song. You wouldn't be surprised to hear a drum beat fall in time with a melody. You'd say, ah, yes, that fits. So why are we surprised when life does the same thing? When you think of someone and they suddenly call, when a word shows up in your dream and then again on a billboard, when an answer arrives before you even knew what the question was, this is not magic. It's music. But the moment you try to grab it, to bottle it, to make it happen again, it slips away, like trying to hold a breeze in your hand. You see, it's not here to be used. It's here to be enjoyed. So don't hunt synchronicities like trophies. Don't demand they show up on command. Let them arrive as guests, uninvited, unexpected, and welcome. And now we come to a curious question. Who is sending these signs? Who's behind all this? We tend to imagine some vast intelligence out there watching us, nudging us, giving us little clues. But that's a bit like your eye trying to see itself, or your hand trying to grasp itself. Because what we call the universe isn't something separate from you. It's not a machine you live inside of. It's what you are doing, just as much as blinking or breathing. So if a message appears, who sent it? You did. Only not the you who worries about bills and plans tomorrow's lunch. A deeper you. The you that was never born and never dies. The you that has always been here, watching the play unfold, laughing softly at the drama. So when you see a sign, a pattern, a wink from the cosmos, don't ask, what does this mean? Ask instead, what part of me already knew this? Because you are not the recipient of the message, you are the message. And that changes everything. When you begin to feel that life has meaning, that things are connected, and that you are not drifting alone in a sea of randomness, well, it begins to appear that way. Not because you forced it, but because something inside you became quiet enough to notice. It's not that the world changed. The sky didn't rearrange its stars just for you. But your eyes cleared. You saw what was always there, a pattern not drawn by logic, but by rhythm. And so, the more open you are to meaning, the more it begins to show itself. Not in loud, dramatic events, but in gentle ripples, soft echoes. The stranger who says the thing you needed to hear. The object found at just the right time. The word that returns to you again and again, like a tide. These are not accidents. They are invitations. The universe leaning in close and saying, "Are you listening now?" And it sees not just people and places, but meaning woven between them, like threads in a tapestry, like waves on a sea that were never really separate to begin with. You may wonder, if all this is true, why don't more people notice it? Well, it's a bit like watching a sunset while checking your watch. You can be looking at something and completely miss it. Many people are trying so hard to find meaning that they rush right past it. They analyze, dissect, seek signs with clenched fists and furrowed brows. But synchronicity isn't caught by force, it's noticed by ease. To see it, you don't strain. You soften. You allow. Like the way you remember something the moment you stop trying to remember it. Or how inspiration strikes when you're in the shower, not when you're sitting at the desk sweating over a blank page. So those who never see it, it's not because it isn't there. It's because they're trying too hard. They're listening through life instead of with it. And the universe, being the gentle artist it is, will not shout over the noise. It waits. It waits for the moment you become still enough to hear the music that's been playing all along. Now, when a sign comes, a whisper, a symbol, a moment that feels like more than chance, the mind will often interrupt. Wait, it says, prove it. Show me more. Give me certainty. But you see, that's like asking the ocean to explain its waves before you'll go swimming. It misses the whole point. Because the universe doesn't operate on guarantees. It moves in curves, not straight lines. It flows like water, not rigid, not planned, but always right where it needs to be. So the invitation is not to demand more evidence. The invitation is to follow the thread, to step forward, not because you know where it leads, but because it calls you. And yes, it's risky to trust something you can't prove, to walk a path you can't see the end of, but that is what makes it real. The signs are not there to control your life. They're not a blueprint. They are more like stepping stones across a stream. You take one, then the next appears, not before. And that is the dance. To live without needing full control. To trust your feet even when you don't know where they're going. Especially then. Some people think synchronicity happens because they are special, chosen, blessed. But the truth is far more beautiful. Synchronicities don't happen because you're special. They happen because you're connected. You are part of the whole. The web, the pattern, the music. And the whole is always speaking. It speaks in numbers, in dreams, in songs, on the radio. It speaks through strangers, through shadows, through the feeling that you've been here before. But it does not speak in straight lines. It speaks like a poem, like a joke, like a dream you half remember but still feel deep in your bones. So don't try to decode it like a puzzle. You'll miss the point. Don't ask, what does this mean? Ask, can I dance with this? Because you, my friend, are not outside the pattern. You are the pattern becoming aware of itself. You are the note waking up to its own song. The wave remembering it is the sea. And once you see that, everything changes, not out there, but in here. So don't try to decode the message, dance with it.